Before we begin our story, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more, and drop a comment with your feedback on our stories. We'd love to hear your thoughts. The night sky above Giza ignited with an eerie glow. It started as a faint hum, barely noticeable over the desert winds, but soon the sound deepened into a resonant vibration that pulsed through the sand. Then, without warning, the Great Pyramid erupted with light. A blinding beam of energy shot from its apex, piercing the heavens. Dr. Layla Hassan stood frozen at the observation site, her eyes locked onto the impossible sight. This isn't possible," she whispered. The energy surge intensified, and within moments, the two neighboring pyramids joined in. Their ancient stone surfaces shimmered as hidden circuits, undisturbed for millennia, came alive. A triangular lattice of golden light connected the three structures, forming a gateway of incomprehensible power. At the control station, her colleague, Daniel Carter, scrambled to make sense of the readings. "Layla, we're detecting something, responding from space." His voice cracked with disbelief. A deep tremor rumbled beneath their feet. The sand around the pyramids began to shift, revealing metallic structures buried for untold centuries. The air grew electric, and then, from beyond the atmosphere, the sky itself answered. Something was coming. The sky rippled like the surface of a disturbed pond. High above the earth, the darkness of space seemed to twist, bending under the force of an unseen presence. Layla's breath caught in her throat as the energy from the pyramids intensified. "Daniel, tell me you're seeing this," she shouted, shielding her eyes from the golden radiance. "I see it," Daniel replied, his voice barely audible over the rising hum of energy. "Layla, something's coming through." Then, as if the heavens had torn apart, a colossal structure emerged from the void. A ship, no, a city, floated above them, its silhouette stretching across the horizon. It was ancient yet impossibly advanced, a construct of obsidian and silver, adorned with luminous glyphs that pulsed in sync with the pyramids below. Layla's mind raced. Could this be the true purpose of the pyramids? A beacon? A gate? The sandstorm around them stilled, as if held in suspended animation. Then, a low, resonant voice filled the air, though it came from nowhere and everywhere at once. The air shimmered before them, and suddenly, figures materialized, tall, regal beings clad in dark robes, their eyes glowing like embers. Layla took an instinctive step back, but one of the beings raised a hand. "Do not fear. You are the last descendants of the Keepers. The time has come for your world to remember its true origin." Layla's heart pounded. "Who are you?" The figure's glowing eyes met hers. "We are the architects, and Earth was never yours to begin with." Layla felt a chill crawl up her spine. The architects stood motionless, their luminous eyes watching her, waiting. A silence stretched between them, thick with the weight of revelation. Daniel swallowed hard. "What do you mean, Earth was never ours?" The tallest of the beings stepped forward, its dark robes flowing as if caught in a wind that wasn't there. "Earth was a cradle, a colony abandoned long ago. The pyramids were left to guide you when the time of return arrived. That time is now." Layla's mind spun. "You're saying, humanity was placed here?" The architect nodded. Your ancestors were not of this world. They were survivors of a war that nearly ended all intelligent life in this galaxy. The pyramids were meant to awaken when it was safe to rejoin the stars. But now, the being's gaze lifted toward the sky, where its massive ship loomed like an eclipse. Something else has heard the signal. A sudden alarm blared from Daniel's tablet. He paled. Layla, multiple incoming contacts. They're moving fast, something is approaching Earth. Above them, the stars flickered, then shifted. At first, it seemed like the sky itself was breaking apart, but soon it became clear, an armada was emerging from the void. Sleek, predatory vessels, their dark hulls absorbing the ambient light. They moved with precision, forming a blockade between Earth and the distant cosmos. One of the new ships fired a warning shot, an eerie, silent bolt of violet energy that struck the edge of the architect's city ship, sending ripples of distortion across its surface. The architects did not move, but their eyes burned brighter. They have come. Layla's throat tightened. Who? The architect turned to her, and for the first time, its voice held something she hadn't expected, fear. The ones who destroyed your ancestors. The ones who swore no remnant of them would survive. The harbingers of silence. The air around the pyramids crackled with energy, and the desert trembled as ancient mechanisms, buried for millennia, roared to life. The pyramids had not just sent a signal, they had also begun Earth's last defense. Layla clenched her fists. Whatever was coming, humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. The sky was alive with chaos. The colossal alien vessels hung over Earth like storm clouds, their hulls blacker than space itself. Then, without warning, the first strike came. A lance of violet energy rained down from the lead harbinger ship, aimed directly at the Great Pyramid. But before impact, an unseen force flared to life. A golden barrier, hexagonal and shimmering, materialized around the pyramid, deflecting the blast skyward. The explosion rocked the heavens, but the ancient structure stood unscathed. Layla's pulse raced. Did the pyramid just defend itself? Daniel's fingers flew over his tablet, reading the impossible data. I don't know how, but yes. There's an active energy field surrounding it. And it's growing. The architects stood unfazed, their luminous eyes fixed on the enemy fleet. The harbingers are relentless. They will not stop until nothing remains of your kind. Another blast came, this time aimed at Cairo itself. But before it could reach the city, the ground answered. Obelisks, long buried beneath the desert, erupted from the sand, humming with golden energy. They formed a web of light, intercepting the attack in midair and dissipating it harmlessly. Daniel gasped. The whole planet is waking up. Layla turned to the architects, her mind catching up to the terrifying realization. You knew this would happen. The pyramids weren't just a signal, they were a defensive network. The lead architect nodded. Earth was always meant to be protected. But your people have forgotten the old ways. Now, you must choose, flee, or fight. Before she could respond, the harbinger ships began to move. Their fleet split into formations, each group preparing for a new assault. But then, something else happened. The pyramids themselves began to rise. Massive slabs of ancient stone shifted, revealing vast machinery hidden beneath. The Great Pyramid lifted from the sand, its base unfolding like a colossal war machine awakening from slumber. The entire structure began to reconfigure, transforming from a monument into something else. Daniel stumbled back. That's impossible. Layla grinned, her fear melting into something new, determination. No, Daniel. She turned back to the sky, where the Harbinger fleet loomed. It's war. The desert trembled as the Great Pyramid completed its transformation. The ancient stone split apart, revealing an armored structure beneath, a war machine hidden beneath history. The apex extended skyward, forming a towering spire crackling with energy. Along the pyramid's surface, golden glyphs ignited, pulsing in rhythm with the planet itself. Then, it struck. A beam of pure, searing energy erupted from the pyramid's peak, lancing into the lead Harbinger warship. The alien vessel convulsed as the blast tore through its shields, sending ripples of flame and debris across the sky. Daniel gasped. They're not just monuments, they're weapons. The other pyramids joined the fight. Khafre and Menkaure shed their stone facades, revealing sleek, alien structures beneath. Their peaks reoriented, transforming into energy cannons. Within moments, twin beams surged toward the Harbinger fleet, carving through the enemy like fire through paper. But the Harbingers adapted. The shattered hulls of their ships writhed, repairing themselves with tendrils of dark energy. Their fleet adjusted tactics, moving unpredictably, weaving through the barrage. Layla turned to the lead architect. Can we stop them? The architect's eyes burned with intensity. Not with the pyramids alone. The earth answered. From the sands, from the mountains, from beneath the oceans, ancient structures long buried began to rise. In Egypt, Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, and the Nazca lines, golden circuits awakened, linking together. Across the planet, humanity's forgotten defenses roared to life. And then, from within the Great Pyramid, something massive began to rise. A warship. It ascended from beneath the sands, a leviathan of black metal and golden glyphs, its hull the size of a floating city. It had been hidden beneath Giza for thousands of years, waiting. The architect watched the ship rise, its voice calm yet unyielding. The Exodus-class warship RA is ready. Layla felt fire surge through her veins. The Harbingers thought Earth was defenseless. They were wrong. She turned to Daniel. Get to that ship. Daniel hesitated. Me? Layla smirked. You wanted first contact. Congratulations, you're part of the resistance now. Above them, the Harbinger fleet prepared to strike again. But this time, Earth wasn't just defending. This time, humanity was going to war. And the battle for Earth had just begun. The night sky above Giza ignited with an eerie otherworldly glow. Far beyond the bustle of modern Cairo, where city lights mingled with timeless desert darkness, an inexplicable event began to unravel. The ancient desert wind carried whispers of a forgotten era as the stars pulsed overhead like distant, watchful eyes. At an isolated observation site near the Great Pyramid, Dr. Layla Hassan stood motionless, captivated by the impossible phenomenon unfolding before her. It began with a faint hum, a sound so subtle it might have been mistaken for the wind. But gradually the hum deepened into a resonant vibration that pulsed beneath the desert sands. Then, without warning, the Great Pyramid erupted with a searing, blinding beam of energy that shot from its apex, slicing through the night and piercing the heavens. The burst of light danced over the weathered stone, reflecting in Layla's wide, trembling eyes. This isn't possible," she whispered to herself, fragile words barely audible against the rising cacophony of nature and technology intermingling on that fateful night. A few meters away, her colleague, Daniel Carter, his face lined with equal parts disbelief and scientific fascination, scrambled at the control station. "Layla, check the readings," he called, his voice a mixture of tension and curiosity as his fingers danced over his tablet. "There's something responding from space." The energy surge grew in intensity, and almost simultaneously, the neighboring pyramids, Khafre and Menkaure, joined in the luminous display. Their ancient stone walls, long dormant and silent, began to shimmer as a hidden network of circuits and luminous pathways awakened. A triangular lattice of golden light connected the three structures, as if forming a gateway of incomprehensible power. The boundaries of myth and science blurred before their very eyes. Outside, the desert trembled. The sand shifted as ancient mechanical structures that had lain buried for untold centuries were slowly revealed. Overhead, the sky itself rippled, its darkness twisting ominously as if an unseen presence was bending reality to its will. Layla's heart pounded fiercely, both with awe and a deep-seated dread, as she marveled, "Daniel, do you feel it? That the pyramids, they're calling out to us." Daniel's eyes, normally steady with rational inquiry, flickered with a rare, personal wonder. "I see something," he managed, "something moving out there, something coming through." Even as the pyramids radiated energy, a low, resonant voice, seemingly emanating from the very air, filled the silence. The sound, neither male nor female, neither wholly gentle nor entirely foreboding, echoed, "You must remember." Layla's instincts and the depth of her scientific training warred within her. Memories from childhood flooded back, quiet evenings spent in her grandmother's lecture on the mysteries of ancient Egyptian lore, where the tales of hidden gods and cosmic gateways were passed down like sacred legends. Yet nothing had prepared her for this moment, when the chants of the past mingled with modern science to spark a revelation. In the control room, Daniel continued to pore over reams of data. "Layla, check this out, these energy signatures, they're not from any natural source. It's as if the pyramids are alive." His tone was a mix of wonder and terror. Before either of them could question further, a deep rumble vibrated beneath their feet. The sand around the pyramids began to shift dramatically, uncovering metallic structures that seemed to defy time. The ancient guardians of a civilization lost to history now awoke as if stirred by destiny. Then, high above, the sky quivered like the surface of a disturbed pond, and as the darkness of space contorted, an impossible vision materialized. A colossal structure emerged from the void, a ship, or perhaps even a city, of obsidian and silver, adorned with luminous glyphs that pulsed in unison with the energy of the pyramids. Its silhouette stretched across the horizon like a dark omen, and as it loomed, Layla's mind teetered between scientific inquiry and frightened belief. Could this be the true purpose of the ancient monuments, a beacon or a gate? The question burned in her mind. Then, from the golden glow of the pyramids, figures began to materialize in the desert night. Tall, regal beings cloaked in dark, flowing robes emerged silently, their eyes glowing like embers that had witnessed millennia. "Do not fear," one of the beings intoned, raising a delicate hand in a gesture of peace. "You are the last descendants of the keepers. The time has come for your world to remember its true origin." Layla's breath caught as her eyes locked onto those luminous gazes. Who are you?" she asked in a trembling voice. A silence fell among the figures. One stepped forward, its tone carrying a weight of sorrow and authority. "We are the architects, and Earth was never yours to begin with." Daniel's incredulous gasp broke the silence. "What do you mean, Earth was never ours?" he demanded, his voice echoing harshly in the unnatural quiet. The tallest of the beings, robes shifting like liquid night, stepped closer. "Earth was a cradle, a colony abandoned long ago. The pyramids were left to guide you when the time of return arrived. That time is now." The being's eyes drifted upward, toward the colossal ship casting its shadow over the desert. "Something else has heard the signal." In the moments that followed, the desert air grew electric, and the protective hum of ancient mechanisms resonated with imminent purpose. At the control station, Daniel's eyes widened as a notification blinked on his tablet. "Layla, incoming contacts, accelerating fast. They're approaching Earth." High above the site, the delicate balance of cosmic power shifted abruptly, the stars flickered and shifted, and soon, an alien armada began to emerge from the depths of space. Sleek, predatory vessels maneuvered like silent hunters, their dark hulls absorbing every stray ray of light as they impeded the starry backdrop. Within moments, one of the new ships unleashed a warning shot, a bolt of violet energy, forcing a ripple of distortion across the surface of the architect's colossal ship. As panicked murmurs interwove with the rising sound of energy, the voices of the architects became clearer. "They have come," one declared with a tremor of fear, a sound that no one had expected from beings of such ancient might. Layla's mind raced. "Are you saying our ancestors were not native to Earth? That we were placed here?" she asked, the enormity of the revelation shaking her to the core. Before the architect could respond, a series of alarms blared across the control station. "Multiple signals!" Daniel shouted, pointing to his rapidly updating display. "We're detecting enemy ships, harbingers." The voice of the architect, now tinged with palpable worry, came again, "The ones who destroyed your ancestors. The harbingers of silence, they have come." Suddenly, the desert trembled as if the land itself were awakening. The once motionless, dormant pyramids began to pulsate with brilliant light. The Great Pyramid's energy surged, extending a beam of pure radiance skyward, a protective barrier that deflected the incoming violet energy. Daniel's eyes darted between readings and the battlefield forming above them. "They're defending," he breathed, "the pyramids are defending themselves." Layla ran forward, unable to contain both terror and exhilaration. "Daniel, look! The entire system is waking up, invisible circuits and ancient defenses reactivating after all these millennia." Her voice was hushed, as if the raw truth demanded reverence. High above, The architect's solemn declaration resonated: Earth was always meant to be protected. Yet your people have forgotten the old ways. Now you must choose, to flee and hide from your destiny, or to fight and reclaim what is yours. Amid the awakening of ancient defenses, Layla's gaze shifted toward a shadow at the fringe of the scene. A lone figure stepped out from behind a fallen obelisk, a guardian whose presence exuded both timeless wisdom and grave urgency. Clad in armor forged from dark, mysterious metal and bearing intricate symbols reminiscent of the hieroglyphs upon the pyramids, the guardian approached with measured steps. With one strong, reassuring gesture, the guardian placed a hand on Layla's shoulder. The device on the pedestal is the remnant of our memory, our legacy, it intoned in a voice that was at once eerie and gentle. Only you can choose what to do with it. Layla's heart pounded as she beheld the crystalline orb resting on an ancient pedestal within a secret chamber newly unearthed by the pyramid's reactivation. Its surface pulsed with an inner, almost sentient light that bathed her in luminous hope and dread. Memories of her childhood, listening to tales of long-gone dynasties and secret keepers, merged with the truth flashing before her eyes. With shaking hands, she reached toward the orb. In that moment, the ground trembled, and the chamber's lights flickered as though an unseen force stirred. "They are coming," the guardian said urgently, its eyes widening in alarm. "You must leave. Now." Before Layla could protest, the massive ancient stone doors slammed shut behind them. The guardian spun, drawing its weapon, a design both archaic and advanced, in a last-ditch effort to hold back the approaching force. "Who's coming?" Layla managed, panic rising in her chest. The guardian's response was grim. "Those who wish to keep the truth hidden, the ones who erased history, who control everything on Earth. They will do anything to silence you." Moments later, the sound of heavy boots pounding on stone filled the chamber. Human soldiers, clad in oppressive black armor with visors reflecting only cold determination, burst through the door. "Drop your weapon," one shouted at the guardian. "You have no idea what you're dealing with." Instinctively, Layla reached for her own weapon. The guardian intercepted her movement, raising a hand in a silent plea to stand down. "This is what I warned you about," it cried. "The ones who erased our history, who would bury the truth forever." Daniel, arriving amid the chaos, swallowed hard. "Layla, what do we do?" he asked, eyeing the advancing soldiers with a mix of awe and trepidation. Layla's eyes flashed resolutely. "Won't let them steal our past," she declared. "I need to know the truth." In that charged moment, as the soldiers advanced with unwavering resolve, the guardian leaned forward and spoke with a blend of urgency and hope. "Take it, Layla. The device, it will show you everything." Without hesitation, she allowed her hand to close around the orb. A surge of brilliant energy pulsed through her, and the world around her exploded into a kaleidoscope of visions, images of a once thriving civilization, starfaring ancestors, and a long-forgotten betrayal that rewrote history. Layla staggered as the full force of the revelation crashed over her. In her mind's eye, she saw Earth in a new light, a world not as a cradle of humanity, but as a carefully chosen sanctuary among many, built by pioneers whose blood and sweat were scattered across galaxies. She saw great ships departing a blue-green planet, fleets that carried the legacy of a people who were, by all accounts, not native to Earth. Battles raged, and with them, bitter betrayals were sewn in the fabric of ancient memory. The vision told her that the true history of her people had been hidden, erased by those who wished to control not only power but also the narrative of human origin. Gasping, she dropped the orb, which hovered and pulsed as if urging her to grasp its secrets. They were not born on Earth, the disembodied voice echoed again, crystallizing the revelation in her soul. Every fiber of her being trembled with longing and a newfound, painful clarity. Mourning the family she'd lost, her late mother, who once recited ancestral legends, and the faint memory of a happier time, she embraced this truth as both a burden and a mandate. At that precise moment, the lead soldier stepped forward, scowling beneath his helmet. "You don't know what you've just unleashed," he spat, his tone a mix of contempt and trepidation. The Guardian's weapon gleamed as it raised in defiance. "You cannot silence the truth." "Not anymore," it proclaimed. Before either side could react further, a deafening explosion shattered the chamber's tension. The wall to the left crumbled spectacularly, and from the debris emerged a sleek, massive vessel, an ancient warship bearing the unmistakable design of the forgotten civilization witnessed in Layla's visions. Its surface glowed with mysterious, golden inscriptions, and as it penetrated the chamber, the very ground seemed to tremble with anticipation. "Move!" Layla shouted, seizing the Guardian's arm. Together, they bolted for the opening. Energy blasts from the startled soldiers scorched the air, striking the Guardian's hastily activated shield. Layla's heart hammered as she ran, leaving behind not only the ruined chamber but also the remnants of a past she was only beginning to understand. Bursting into the cool night air, the pair found themselves before a transformed Giza. The desert, once timeless and silent, was now aglow with ancient power. The pyramids that had stood as monuments to millennia of human achievement were undergoing a metamorphosis. The Great Pyramid, its surface crisscrossed with glowing golden circuits, began to rise from the sand like a sleeping titan awakened. Alongside it, Khafre and Menkaure shimmered, their once solid faces now vibrating with dynamic light. A triangular lattice of energy connected the structures, forming a majestic gateway to untold secrets. Above the desert, the night sky evolved into a veritable war zone. The Harbinger fleet, a collection of alien vessels with dark, predatory hulls, moved as one, forming a lethal, entangled web around Earth's orbit. Their weapons, swirling with violet energy, shone ominously against the stars. Yet before they could begin their assault, the colossal warship known as the RA, hidden beneath the sands of Giza for thousands of years, emerged from its slumber. With a burst of golden lances, the RA took the offensive. Each beam of energy struck like divine retribution, tearing through enemy vessels. 3 Harbinger ships, caught in the fiery crosshairs, shattered in a cascade of silent, incandescent explosions. The ancient defenses seemed to answer the call of a long-lost destiny. On board the RA, the corridors pulsed with alien technology and luminous holograms that shimmered with cryptic symbols. Layla and Daniel sprinted through these shifting corridors. Their faces, etched with determination and mixed with the remnants of personal loss, were lit by the ambient glow of the ship. At a central console, Daniel's fingers danced over the interface. "This interface, it's responding to my touch," he exclaimed with equal parts awe and urgency. Layla placed her hands on another glowing panel and, as the energy surged through her, a breathtaking vision unfolded. She could see the battlefield outside not merely as static imagery, but as a dynamic map with every harbinger ship, every fluctuation of energy, every threat clearly marked. In that moment, she realized that the RA was not simply a relic, it was a living, breathing vessel, bonded to the very blood and legacy of its creators. A voice, deep and tinged with ancient sorrow, resonated in her mind. The ship is bonded to the blood of its makers. You are its commander now. It was the architect, a being of immense wisdom and timeless sorrow whose luminous eyes had witnessed countless epochs. Layla exhaled sharply, determination overtaking her fear. Then let's finish this. Turning to Daniel, she added, "Get ready. We're going to take the fight to them." The desert sky above Giza transformed into a spectacle of epic proportions. The Harbinger fleet, now arrayed in menacing formation, advanced relentlessly. Their dark vessels blocked the stars, moving as a single, unyielding force armed with the promise of annihilation. A lone Harbinger fired, a lance of violet energy streaked downward, aimed directly at the Great Pyramid. Yet, moments before impact, a hexagonal golden barrier materialized around the pyramid, deflecting the bolt skyward in a brilliant flash. Layla, perched in the command chair of the RA, turned to Daniel. "Did you see that? The pyramid just defended itself." Daniel, eyes wide with disbelief as he scrolled through live data, responded rapidly, "I'm reading an active energy field. The ancient defenses are online, and getting stronger." Across the battlefield, the architects maintained their composure amidst the chaos, even as the Harbingers retreated momentarily. "The Harbingers will not relent," warned the lead architect as their voices reverberated telepathically. "They are the ones who destroyed your ancestors, the Harbingers of Silence." Layla's mind raced as she absorbed the truth. Earth's forgotten defenses were more than mere relics. They were a manifestation of a legacy designed to protect a people whose origins had been deliberately hidden. "Then we cannot wait," she declared. "We strike now." In a commanding, defiant tone that blended grief, hope, and burgeoning power, Layla cried out, "Fire everything." At her command, the Ra's armaments roared to life. Golden beams erupted from the ship's hull, each one lancing through the darkness with the force of destiny. The Harbinger vessels convulsed under the assault, their regenerative powers overwhelmed by the relentless onslaught of ancient power. Yet the enemy would adapt swiftly. With cold precision, the Harbinger command ship, a monolithic, shadow-wreathed vessel with a reality-warping core, descended from Earth's orbit. As it neared, the void around it began to distort, and its massive presence seemed to threaten to collapse space itself. Layla's voice dropped to a pained whisper, "If that thing fires, Earth is done for." Daniel's hands trembled over his console. "The pyramids are channeling power into the RA, they're giving us one shot." Drawing deeply on every ounce of resolve, Layla clenched her fists and looked out at the burning horizon. "Then we take it," she vowed. The pyramids burned with an inner golden light as energy flowed in torrents into the RA overloaded, its core pulsed like a star on the verge of collapsing, yet in that moment of perfect synchrony, a single beam of indescribable brilliance erupted from the warship. It exploded forth into space, colliding head-on with the violet spear from the Harbinger. For one heart-stopping second, the cosmos held its breath as the two beams clashed. And then, with a resounding burst that scattered enemy remains across the void, the Harbinger command ship fractured and imploded. The remaining enemy vessels faltered and then began to retreat into the endless darkness. Earth had won the day, for now. Silence fell over the desert as the battle ebbed. The scorching glow of destruction gave way to the solemn beauty of a blood-silver dawn. Above Giza, the wreckage of fallen Harbinger ships drifted slowly in orbit, like dying embers against the vast canvas of space. The RA now hovered above the pyramids, golden glyphs pulsing softly as their ancient energy subsided. Inside the command bridge, Layla slumped heavily into her seat, sweat mingling with tears. The adrenaline of combat gave way to an uncertain calm. Daniel's eyes remained fixed on his console, scanning for any sign of enemy reinforcements. "There's something odd," he murmured. "The RA, it's transmitting data. It isn't just sending, it's receiving." Layla's brow furrowed with concern. Receiving from who? As a holographic map unfurled in the air before them, glowing coordinates appeared stretching well beyond the confines of the solar system. Daniel's voice trembled as he interpreted the new data. "It looks like a distress beacon, or a call to arms." He paused, then added, "It's from one of the lost colonies. Others, there are more of us out there." The architect, ever quiet until now, addressed them in a measured tone. "It has begun. Your people were scattered among the stars in the Great Exodus, long before Earth was established as their sanctuary. They have watched your struggle and now await your signal to reawaken." Layla's heart pounded with the knowledge of what was at stake. "So we're not alone," she said slowly. "We are the inheritors of a legacy, one that connects every lost colony, every forgotten keeper. We must find our lost brothers and sisters." Daniel exchanged a determined glance with her. "Then we take the fight to them. We leave Earth behind if we must, and reunite our scattered people." Above them, the architect's solemn eyes glimmered as it added, "The awakening has begun, but so too has the enemy's mobilization. The Harbingers, impervious to defeat, will return with renewed severity, unless you stand united." Layla's expression hardened as she gazed out at the horizon, where the black void stretched on and on. Though the battle had been won, she knew the war was far from over. "We must answer the call," she declared, her voice unwavering. "Earth is no longer just a lost colony, it is our beacon, and from it, we will reclaim our destiny among the stars." In the wake of the battle, as the shimmering remnants of energy slowly faded, life on Earth began to shift. Government factions, long divided, now found themselves forced to confront the magnificent, and terrifying, revelations of the night. Debates erupted in the corridors of power, and ordinary people flocked to ancient sites, drawn by inexplicable memories of grandeur and a mysterious call echoing through time. For Layla, the nights were no longer for mourning the past, but for forging a future. In quiet moments before dawn, she would trace her fingertips over the holographic maps on the Ra's console, contemplating the long journey ahead. Her mind wandered back to her own history, a girl mesmerized by stories of Egypt's mystic pharaohs, who whispered that the land's secrets were not meant solely for the living. Later, when she became a scientist, those childhood fables had transformed into rigorous studies, only to be overshadowed by the harsh lessons of loss and failure when a tragic mission claimed her family. Now, the revelations of the ancient legacy promised not only answers, but a chance at redemption. Daniel, too, bore his own burdens. Once a promising engineer with ambitions to revolutionize human spaceflight, he had struggled in the shadow of an ever-demanding world. His quiet determination had carried him through countless missions, but today the battle for truth had awakened in him a passion that went beyond duty. In his late evenings, as he meticulously analyzed data and cross-referenced centuries-old encrypted records, he resolved that no secrecy, no matter how deeply buried, would ever again rob humanity of its rightful heritage. Their conversations aboard the RA grew more intimate and fervent. One evening, as the ship sailed silently through the deep void, Daniel confided, "I remember when I first saw a star. I thought it was a hope. Now I understand, it's a promise. And this journey, Layla, it's our promise to those we lost and yet to be found." Layla's eyes glistened with a mixture of warmth and sorrow. "I promise too, Daniel. We'll bring back the truth of who we are. And maybe, in doing so, we'll find healing for all our broken hearts." As the coordinates on the holographic map pulsed steadily, the RA accelerated towards the first blinking signal, a distress beacon emanating from a forgotten colony on the edge of known space. There, on a barren, crimson moon orbiting a dying sun, alien refugees huddled around a massive obsidian monolith. Its surface, carved with intricate golden hieroglyphs, had been silent for centuries, until tonight, when it pulsed and glowed like the beating of an ancient heart. In a remote subterranean shelter, the colony's leader, a humanoid with metallic blue skin and 4 golden eyes, spoke in a trembling whisper, "The lost world. Earth has returned." Around him, faces weary from endless exile lit up with embers of hope. News of the awakening, born by Layla and echoed by the architect across the cosmos, was beginning to knit together a tapestry of rediscovered identities. On board the RA, as the ship's engines roared with new purpose, Layla addressed the assembled crew in a brief but stirring speech. "We extend our hands to our scattered kin, to the remnants of our forgotten heritage. We are not the sum of our tragedies. We are the descendants of greatness, a legacy that spans the stars. Together, we will reclaim our place among the cosmic sovereigns." Applause broke out among the diverse crew, a mosaic of human and allied aliens drawn from myriad cultures and histories. Even Daniel, normally reserved, allowed a smile to break through his stoic features. Their journey was not simply an escape from tragedy, it was the resurrection of a civilization's truth. But while hope blossomed in some corners of the universe, dark currents stirred elsewhere. Far in the void, hidden deep within a sprawling nebula, the remaining harbingers secured their regrouping. In the confederation of the Harbinger Elders, a collective consciousness forged by neural networks spanning ages, they deliberated in silent, terrifying unity. One thought resounded through their gathered minds: the last world of the ancients has awakened. Earth must be purged. And with that unspoken decree, new orders were given. The enemy was mobilizing for a vengeance unlike any before. Back on Earth, as the golden glow of the pyramids retreated into the horizon and the first light of dawn broke over a changed world, Layla and Daniel prepared for the next phase. In the command chamber of the RA, a place filled with holographic displays, cryptic alien symbols, and the hush of determination, they reviewed fresh incoming transmissions. Daniel's voice trembled as he announced, "Our sensors have picked up multiple distress signals from colonies that we believed were lost. They are scattered across star systems, and some are under attack." Layla's eyes, still burning with the intensity of their recent battle, hardened further. "Then we leave no one behind. We must use our newfound power to unite all of our scattered people. Earth is our home, but it is also the nexus of our ancient, interstellar heritage." Before they could solidify their plans, the architect's resonant voice filled the room once more. "This is but the beginning. The awakening has spread through the Earth's defenses, but so too has the enemy's resolve. Be ready, for the harbingers will not rest until they reclaim control, and until Earth burns." A long silence followed as Layla and Daniel exchanged determined glances. "Then we take the fight to them," Layla declared. "If they think Earth is a pushover, we will show them the might of our legacy." Their resolve crystallized into orders. The RA would chart a course to the coordinates of the nearest colony, and even as preparations were made to leave orbit, every member of the crew steeled themselves for the trials ahead. The ancient defenses of Earth were not mere relics, they were the harbingers of a renaissance of truth. The RAs sped onward, leaving behind the charred remnants of the night's battle and the silent, smoldering pyramids that had once defended Earth. As the colossal warship charted its course through the inky corridors of space, Layla took one last look at the planet, a blue-green sphere at the edge of darkness, a sanctuary heralding both ancient secrets and modern strife. In a quiet moment within the command bridge, her thoughts wandered back to her family, the warm smile of her mother telling her bedtime stories of gods and heroes, the soft whisper of her mentor urging her to always seek the truth, and the echoes of a lost love that continued to guide her. Every loss had carved a part of her soul, but now each scar was also a reminder of her indomitable will. She vowed silently, Earth would not fade into obscurity, its forgotten truths would light the way for a resurgence of greatness. Daniel joined her by the viewport, his face lit by the cosmic panorama. "I've been thinking," he said softly, "this is more than just a battle for survival, it's about reclaiming who we are. I want to believe that our ancestors left us a legacy not of shame, but of hope." Layla turned to him, a sad smile forming beneath her determined gaze. "I believe that too, Daniel. And one day, I hope every scattered soul will know the truth, and stand united with it." At that moment, the holographic map in front of them pulsed with new signals. Coordinates appeared from distant galaxies, a call from the lost colonies. The architect's voice echoed, "Your people are waiting. Go forth and unite the branches of the ancestry that once carried humanity among the stars." The Ra's engines roared as the vessel changed course, darting through starfields and cosmic dust. Layla, Daniel, and the awakened crew prepared to lead the charge, a beacon of light against the impending darkness. The battle was not over, it was only at its threshold. Yet hope now blossomed amid the ruins of the past, igniting a fire that promised liberation, unity, and a return to greatness. As the colossal warship sailed into unexplored regions of space, the night sky above Earth, once a silent watcher, now thrummed with the power of renewal. The pyramids of Giza, still pulsing with ancient energy, stood as guardians of a forgotten legacy reborn. In cities across the globe, hidden monoliths and awakening defenses signaled that humanity's true history was re-emerging, piece by piece, from the veil of crafted lies. Deep in the void, on a barren, scarlet moon beneath a dying sun, a group of alien refugees huddled around a long silent monolith. With the arrival of the Ra's message, their hopes stirred anew. "The lost world knows," whispered their leader, a being with metallic blue skin and 4 glimmering golden eyes. "Earth has returned." In the silence of a dark nebula, the ancient council of the Harbinger Elders, whose collective consciousness had long enforced a reign of fear and suppression, trembled with an unfamiliar emotion, doubt. For the first time in 10,000 years, the invincible hand of oppression wavered. Their silent command reverberated, "Mobilize the full fleet. Earth will burn." And yet, even as the shadow of the enemy loomed, whispers of rebellion echoed across the galaxy. On the bridge of the RA, Layla and Daniel, now more than survivors or scientists, leaders of a reborn people, stood resolute. "We will find our lost brothers and sisters," Layla vowed, fingers tracing the glowing coordinates on the holographic map. "We will unite them, and together we will reclaim our true destiny among the stars." As the RA accelerated toward its next destination, leaving behind a world that was no longer just a colony but the cornerstone of an ancient empire reborn, the cosmos shimmered with possibilities. The truth of who humanity once was, woven through old legends, etched in the golden circuits of ancient pyramids, and transmitted in electric pulses across the void, would light the path forward. For the first time in eons, the scattered souls of Earth's ancient progeny were beginning to awaken. And with each new alliance, every beacon that fired from forgotten monoliths, the rebirth of a lost legacy had begun, a luminous chapter written not in the ink of despair, but in the golden promise of hope, truth, and unity. The journey was far from over. As the stars beckoned, and the cosmic night stretched infinitely before them, one thing remained clear: humanity had returned. And the awakening had only just begun. And the war for the galaxy had begun.